By chance, do you guys know what time it is today? Ooh, I have been looking forward to today more than anything. I'm sure you guys can tell by the machines behind me. It's time for ore processing. Yes, finally time. We're in like what? Third month into this series and we're finally processing our ores? It's ridiculous. Anyways, hello everybody and welcome to the next episode of Monifactory, where today we're going to be doing everything related to ore processing. So the basic agenda I'm going to walk you guys through is we're going to get our ore processing done. We're then going to automate our micro miners, get all that logistics set up, and then we're going to fix Flatline. Flatline is the last thing we're going to do. I'm not really looking forward to it. There's just a few multi-blocks that need to be made. We might reconfigure some stuff with it. It's a little slow, but we'll see, right? I think that should be a pretty good to do this. The ore processing is going to take a minute, and the micro miners are probably going to take longer for the logic. But anyways, I have a lot of time that I have to spend on this, so I'm no more waiting. Without further ado, let's get this started. So to start off, we need to do ore processing. Now, this is going to be done with, if you couldn't guess by the terminals I've already put on top of all the machines, subnets. Now, I'm going to we'll see how lazy I am while editing this. I'm going to try and make a diagram that kind of shows exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a little bit of a trickle down thing, a little bit of a circular thing, but I'll walk you guys through all of it, so hopefully none of it's confusing. Basically, we're going to take ores from mainnet, which in fact, it's probably going to be easy. You know what? No. I'll just explain it. We're going to take ores from mainnet. We're going to put them into one kind of big subnet that's going to distribute it into 8 different subnets. And then the 8 different subnets are going to output their items back into that big subnet for it to be redistributed back into whatever machine is next. And at the final products, we're going to filter out and put back into the main net, i.e. this network. So hopefully that wasn't too much just word jumble. Right, that's the basic gist of it. Now, it's a little bit more like what tools we want to use to do that. That makes it a little more complicated, because that idea in and of itself, where you're taking stuff from mainnet, okay, then we're just cycling it over and over and over and over until it's done processing, isn't really that hard of a concept. It's more how do I want to like do the logistics, the throughput, the I/O, all that stuff. How do I want to do that? Well, I've discovered we have ME wireless connectors. Which make our job so much easier. I've also categorized things in color already, as you guys can already see. So without further ado, let's get started. Hopefully I should be able to explain this pretty well. So coming from mainnet, in fact, I think I already have a connection. I'm going to have a bunch of interfaces. Now the interfaces are going to get the ore from mainnet. Does copper ore really need to be processed? Cobalt, sure. We're going to take copper ore and we're going to take it from mainnet. And we're going to use interfaces to take stuff from mainnet because they're faster than export buses. They just do kind of what I want to do better, and it's easier to filter out more stuff. So for example, copper ore, and I already have a thing here with some ore. In fact, pyrochlore I probably also want to have with this filter. I was doing some testing. So there's copper ore, and this is going to be kind of the subnet. Like I said, I was doing some testing earlier. I had to go on a backup of the world because something broke. In fact, I actually had an hour-long recording that I had to redo. Oopsie, I don't know what happened. Anyways, I'm rambling. So from this interface, we're going to laser node, so the down, extract. We're gonna laser node these into here. So it should get the end copper ore. Yes, perfect. And now is where I'm gonna make a subnet. I'm gonna have a subnet. I'm gonna have this colored cyan, and I want to have a storage bus on this steel or stainless steel barrel with a -1000 priority. And that's because this is going to be the flushing barrel, right? The outputs of the machines and the inputs from the ME system are going to go into this barrel to be further cycled through all the different machines around us, right? This is going to be that right here. So with this one on a negative priority, and what we're going to do, the flushing system, circular system is important, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to send these into some other interface, which I need to make sure I put this in a good spot. So I'm just going to put the interface right here, and I'm then going to have another laser node that connects right up to it. So on the down, we're going to have another insert, probably on another channel, which is what I have right here. And I already have this guy right here extracting. So what is going to happen is if I go here, connect this up, it should, yes, as we can see, it's going to take these ores and flush them through this or put them into this interface. Now, this is going to be on the cyan network. So it's going to be on the same network as this, which actually I should probably just power real quick. Yes, so now the system has power, and we should see that whatever's flushed into here is just immediately going to go back into this barrel, which is what we want, right? And I'll explain why here in just a second. So here is where the more complicated part comes in, so I'm going to walk a little bit slowly through this one. I know for a fact I'm going to want these ores to be macerated. So I also know I have 8 machines, so I'm going to need a whole bunch of wireless connectors. Okay, if I've done everything correctly in my head, I'm going to need a total of, what is it, 24? It's 32. I need 32 wireless connectors. And here's why. So we're going to want a wireless connector for every single machine. So I'm going to want a wireless connector for every single subnet. So I've already have a drive here, right? Which this already has some stuff in it, apparently. But this is going to be the maceration subnet. And I'm going to color this blue. And then I'm going to have a wireless connector also, just let's say right here. Also going to color this blue. And this is going to be a subnet. So if I go ahead and I literally just want this to be connected up to power, so just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to give this guy power. You should now become online. Yes, you're going to be online, and I should be able to link this just like here. So with this item right here, the wireless setup kit, and then link it to this guy right here. You should be online, you should be getting power, and now I can see the pyrochlore ore. So here, right, is where the flushing part comes in. So if I were to have, let's say, a storage bus on an interface that's connected up only to this wireless connector right here. In fact, I should be able to just put it right here. Interface. So this is going to be on this blue network. If I were to have a storage bus, just right here for now, this will be on insert only. And I'm going to filter pyrochlore and also copper ore, because I know I want these to be macerated. I'll connect this up to the cyan network, and we should see those being taken out. So because this storage bus is on a low priority and this one here is not, it's going to choose to store the items in this interface, which should be going over into this system right here. You guys see where I'm going with this? Right, so then we have to process those, and the outputs from the maceration tower is going to go back into this barrel to be sent back into this ME interface to be sent through another wireless connector to whatever other machine we want. And this way we could just set everything with filters instead of having to do everything kind of manually. We literally just have to move items around right in a storage bus. Literally just dragging stuff into here. I want this to go here, this to go here. And we have, we know exactly kind of what we want to do with a lot of this stuff based off of the ore diagram. So for example, we're going to crush this copper. It's going to give us cobalt and copper. The copper, we're probably going to ore wash with distilled water to give us cobalt. And then from there, I mean, we don't really care about it. From here, we could just smelt it up, right? This purified doesn't really give us that much more. We already kind of got all of the juice from it. So now, let's say I wanted to take that, I think it was, what's being processed right now? This pyrochlore. Well, first of all, we need to send this into a thing, which I'm going to do with tag export buses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say on this input bus right here, and this is going to be on the subnet, I want to take forge ores. I should be able to connect this up. I'm hoping. I should be seeing that being put into here now. Yes, now we see those are being input into this bus. So I just need some acceleration cards to make this a little faster. And now, as we can see, that is being sent into here, which this device is not online right now. So what we have to do, right, is make up the kind of matrix of 8 different wireless connectors that are going to be the outputs of the different machines, which are going to be connected to the cyan, the upper subnet. Don't know where I want to put these. Right? I'm not super sure. I guess I could put it right here. I guess that makes sense. So you will be cyan, and I'm going to hook this up just right on top of this guy. And you should be online, and now I should see all of that stuff, yes, be put into here. We do have some finished products, like the apatite and endstone dust, that we want to send back into main system. So we're going to do that with just another interface. So right here we know is the main net. So I can have an interface here. This should be connected already. I can have a storage bus. And this is going to have more filters on it. So I know I want apatite and endstone dust to go into here. So now whenever, and this is also on a higher priority than this storage bus here. So as soon as I connect this, we should see those being taken out. Yes, perfect. And I'm also going to speed this up, I think, with some cards. So all of those should be taken out. It's going to run through some of this stuff first. So because it's flushing out these items right here, it's not going to get to this endstone dust until everything else is put into its proper system. So as soon as we set up all 8 of the subnets, this backlog problem of the flushing shouldn't be an issue. But right now we don't have that set up, so we do have to set that up. But that is like the entirety of the system. That is the logic. That's how it's going to work. I'm just hoping it doesn't look bad. That's my main worry at the moment. So what I'm going to do, for example, like I know I'm going to want another storage bus here. These are going to be on insert only. Right now I need like a dummy filter so it doesn't just go into this interface. Another interface here. This is not going to be on this subnet. This is going to be on a separate subnet. And this is going to have another wireless connector. So for example, what was I processing? Pyrochlore we want to send through an ore washer. Which one is an ore washer? You're a chemical bath. You're an ore washer. So I'm going to move some of this stuff around. I think the ore washer I want right here. So now I've made a subnet here with a quartz fiber. You are going to get a wireless connector, and that is going to connect to the ore washers up here. So I'm going to have somewhere on here, right? I'm going to have my output bus, my input bus. I'm going to have my wireless connector just below this guy. Connect those up. Those should be online. Now, with a storage bus on top of this guy, I'm going to have my crushed pyrochlore. So as soon as I connect this up, I should see all the pyrochlore get sent into, maybe? I hope it all just went into the right spot. If not, I'm going to be a little upset. I should see the pyrochlore. Yes, it's on into there. I should see all the other ore has gone into here. Perfect. And everything else has gone into mainnet. Would you look at that? That is beautiful. So this, I also know I'm going to want to have, I want to have distilled water in it, which this is going to be mainnet right here. So it's going to be a little bit awkward. Getting cabling around here, but hopefully I'll be able to figure it out. So I should have just connected this guy up here. You should have power. You should have distilled water. So now this should be online. I should have everything in here that I need. Yes, you have all the pyrochlore. And I'm just going to export this with another tag export bus. Connect this up right here. Yes, and now this is getting the pyrochlore. And it should be getting sent, yes, into this export bus. That is perfect. So now I just need to make another wireless connector here. And this is going to be connected up to the cyan subnet right here. So I would have a dude right here, which I'll connect up just like so. So that means all of those outputs should now be going into here and back into the flushing system to be sent into either mainnet or another machine. That's beautiful. That is really beautiful. I just need to color this. Oh, that's so awesome. That is so cool. So this should just be running, right? You're running through all of whatever you have, which you do have a lot of stuff. You have a decent amount of stuff. But that's what we want, right? We want all of our ores to be processed. So now I think hopefully you guys get the gist of what's going on. Hopefully it made sense. If not, I'll explain it a little more when the next part is done. But I think it's time for a montage. So you guys should be hearing music. Let's do some more processing. This is ridiculous. So it does all work. I've been setting a few filters. This is very Rube Goldberg. I don't know. Does the ore processing have to be this complex? No, it doesn't. However, it works really well, and because of its I don't know, maybe unnecessary complex nature, it makes things more simple onward. Either that or it really did not need to be this different. I don't know. Did it need 8 subnets? No. Did I want it to have 8 subnets? Yes. Right, I think it's pretty good. So, for example, do I have any ores I could send through here? Not at the moment. Let me just send, like, ruby ore. Ruby ore, I think we're definitely going to macerate this. Let me show an example of how this works. So, like I said, I have a bunch of filters, so we're going to macerate ruby ore. We're then going to send that into the throughput here that should get macerated. Yep, we're going to get a whole bunch of different stuff. Chromium is a finished product, so that gets to go into this storage bus. So all of the chromium now should be put into mainnet. Now, crushed ruby, what in the world do I want to do with this? We probably just want to distill it, or not distill it, basic ore washer, and the purified ruby we can just send through a sifter. And the purified here, we can then probably just, then we can thermal centrifuge and send it through a macerator again. So this one actually has a pretty long line. So this one we're going to ore wash, which I believe is orange. So we'll send it through here. We're going to then put it back into the system. We're going to get all of the outputs. You guys know how wonderful this is? This is my favorite thing ever. Now this needs to be sent through the sifter, which is purple. This is our first sifter recipe. All right, we're going to send all of that through. That should all get sifted. We're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. I think most of this stuff we might just want to macerate. I don't think we need like rubies for anything. So all this, yeah, we can just macerate. But this we're going to centrifuge, which I believe is red. So this should go through the centrifuge. The exquisite ruby, and normal ruby we are going to want to macerate, so it's going to be white. So if I send all of these back through here, we also have red garnet, which I don't really know what I want to do with this. We're probably just going to centrifuge this as well. So this is going to be sent through the centrifuge. Oh, this is so perfect. Oh, and then this is ruby dust, which ruby dust we should probably just electrolyze. I don't know if I want to keep the ruby dust for making energium because I already have ruby on passive. So this I am just going to electrolyze. Aluminum is a finished product. And that should be it. I mean, that's all of the ruby line done. It's as simple as me literally just looking here and putting stuff in storage buses. So I'm going to say that this complex line of ore processing was probably worth it. Whether that's actually true or not, I don't know. I definitely did spend a good few hours on this, but I had a lot of fun doing it, so I really think that's what matters, right? Yeah, we do still have a pretty large backlog of things. Specifically, the centrifugal, the thermal centrifuge is, I think, the biggest backlog. But once we make things faster, hopefully that won't be an issue. Anyways, now it is time for the probably harder part, which is going to be micro miners. Now that it's time for micro miners, I decided I need a place to actually put a lot of the microverse projectors. So you guys know what that means, right? We're going to start this chapter with a little bit of a montage. It's definitely not the most complex room, right? It's just following the basic style. It is pretty simple, but I'm hoping as we get more microverse projectors in here, it'll start looking a lot better. The colors are going to match up. The red markers here, these are just markers for where I'm going to put things. Those are not here to stay, but it's a pretty nice room, pretty simple. I decided just to stick with normal convention of the base, just not make things too complicated. But now it is time for the actual complicated part. So I'm going to do a little bit of explaining because what I want to do for micro miners requires a little bit of logic and understanding of a few mechanics and, you know, maybe even a bit of time complexity, knowledge and whatnot. And the reason for that is crafting cards. So let me quickly explain the system that I want to do. I want my system to send a redstone signal to some sort of other system when I am low on a key resource, i.e. I'll set a filter. And whenever that filter is set off, I'm going to make X micro miner that gives us that material until a certain amount has been reached, or it'll just send a certain amount. I'm not sure which one yet. Now, the problem with this is I actually have to automate micro miners. Now, I would have them on passive, except that is a little bit counterintuitive, I think. I don't really particularly want to do that. Maybe it's the better way to go. I don't know. Instead, I am going to use a crafting card. Now, don't yell at me yet. Here's the caveat to why it's okay. First, we need some context on crafting cards. So let me quickly get a crafting card and explain what it does. So if I go down here and I just say, and I put a crafting card in here, and let's say I want a crafting table in here at all times. It is now going to craft a crafting table whenever it goes into here. However, this is very, very, very laggy. And the reason it's laggy is because it's checking the entire system of items to see if it can craft that item. And the way around that is using a subnet. So here I have set up a subnet that knows how to make a tier 2 miner, but the only items in it are items that can make a tier 2 miner. So basically, the crafting card is going to get its best case search scenario, so it's always going to run really fast. It's not going to cause any TPS problems I'm aware of. I mean, I'm on a single player world anyway, so I'm not sure if TPS is that big of a deal. I could just throw crafting cards around, but it's good practice to not. So that's why we have our best friend here, subnets. So to further explain this, I'm going to have an input bus with a controller, but I have set this card to only work whenever there is a redstone signal applied. So I'm sure that you can kind of see where this is going now. Whenever I have a key resource, and let's say this is the input bus for the tier 1 microminer. So I'm going to send a redstone signal into this input bus, right? So for example, if I get a button, I'm going to send a redstone signal into this input bus whenever we're low on something. So this should give it a few microminers. Now I would prefer this to be a 1-tick thing so it doesn't take out, that many microminers. But whenever we're low on something, okay, send a microminer mission. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? I mean, I could probably do like a timer for it so it sends like 10 microminers per, which is probably not the worst idea, actually, now that I think about it. But hopefully that makes sense. And that is how I'm going to do this. So this system right here, right, we're gonna use a crafting card. We're gonna use a crafting card. Hopefully that's not the end of the world. And you know, I might just give up later on and do it the laggy way. We'll see how far I get. Now the other hard part about this is I just have to passive everything here, which, I mean, it shouldn't be too bad. It is going to be really annoying to do. Okay, so completely disregard pretty much everything I said in the last clip. I'm going to change some stuff up. I have made the unfortunate decision to just, well, I mean, probably fortunate decision to just not use crafting cards. And the reason why is because in order to make them not laggy, I would have to jump through so many hoops that would take me probably days to do. I'd have to passive, you know, hundreds of items, and you know, as we get more micro miners, that's only going to get more complex. So I don't really see myself wanting to do that. So I'm going to put a similar system in place, but it's going to be not as passive. It's going to be more, if I have a micro miner in stock and the filter gets set off, we're going to send one of those micro miners. That's going to be how I do it. And I'm just going to have like hopefully a constant stock of micro miners. I'll request them every now and then if I'm running low. You know, maybe I'll have a redstone lamp on that says, oh, hey, you're running out of this micro miner, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. And that's going to make my life so much easier, and this is going to take a lot less time to do. So crafting cards, you could be thrown away. So now I am actually going to set up the microverse dude. So behind me, I have set up a little something. It's not complete yet. I'm going to show the gist of it. So right now I am checking if I have below 1,000 tungsten dust. And that is what I want to send into this micro miner. Whenever we're below 1,000 tungsten dust, I want to send the miner that gives me sheelite and tungstate, which is going to be the tier 2 micro miner, because that is the main purpose of this mission, is tungsten. So I now need one of those redstone or machine controllers on this guy. And we're going to set you to only be on when there is a redstone signal. So I'm going to have an interface here, right? It shouldn't pull anything in because there's no redstone. So this is going to require a little bit of redstone. Specifically, I'm going to use an observer. So I think back here, I'm going to have a filter for every single microminer dude. Now I might... I probably am going to want a different microverse projector for every single different mission, just in case there's some overlap, because you never know, because this is only going to fire off once. So whenever I get the signal, fire it off once, that's it. Alrighty, so behold, my immense redstone genius. Not true, actually, I'm really bad at redstone, but I did design this. Hopefully it works. It seems to be working, so right now, what I have is I have a level emitter telling me when I am below 1,000 tungsten, and here's what it's going to do. So if I take out the tungsten, we're going to try that again. I'm going to take out the tungsten. This redstone block is going to go here for a split second to turn on, let's say, an input bus, right? Okay, so now, whenever we're above the tungsten, this piston's just going to retract, and this one will stay, so it will not turn the input bus on again. That's what we meant to figure out. But this system should work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a redstone P2P for this guy right here, just like right there, and hopefully that works. And then I just need to connect this up to the system, which I might move where this is at some point. Right now, I don't really care. I just want to test to make sure this works. So, this redstone P2P, I am now going to send into this input bus right here. You are going to only be on when redstone is on. I'm going to send the redstone dude to here. Hopefully, this should work. I'm going to get my tier 2 micro miners. In fact, I'm going to change this input bus to a better input bus. Because this mission also, so we'll send 5 of these missions, but this mission also needs 2 pieces of quantum flux. So we'll set this equal to 10. Hopefully that's going to work. Let's test this out. I just want to see if the input bus functionality is working. If I were to go ahead and take out the tungsten from here, we should, no? Oh, I didn't connect up the P2Ps. That would probably help. Okay, let's try this again. So now, if I take out the tungsten, we should see, oh yeah, and if I put this back, it shouldn't take any more. It works. I wish there was a mod in this pack that would let me put that circuit into one block, but I don't think we have that at all in this pack, which is a little bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. But that's working. That is like completely working, so let me go ahead. I don't want to run this mission right now, at least. That is so awesome. Seriously, that is amazing. I love that so much. So I guess we might as well test this. Let me go ahead and get this powered. So let me go ahead and tell my system, hey, I'm out of tungsten. We should see this turn on. Let's try that again. Yes, and then you're going to start running. Oh, and it runs 5 missions at once. In order it gets the tungsten back, it's not going to send more. I do have to clean it up, make it look a little nicer. But I mean, that is exactly what I want. So it's going to check the tungstate, because that's what we really want from this mission. From this level emitter right here. Whenever that gets to a low amount, send a mission. The only caveat to this is I'm going to have tier 2 microminers like on the system at all times, which I don't know. Yeah. Might have to increase some buffers for this, but can I make like 20 of these right now just to have in backlog? And this should last me a while. But that's amazing. I'm so happy with that. That is amazing. That's going to give me a whole bunch of ore that I now need to send through ore processing. So now that I have this working, which I'm really happy about. Where is it? What's over here? This is all done and working. I do have to clean it up a little bit, but that shouldn't be too bad. Just some facades. If I can, find a way to make this redstone circuit smaller, I will, but that might not be so easy. So that just means for every micro miner, I'm going to have one of these little redstone circuits here, which, let me know in the comments if there's a smaller way of doing this. I would very much appreciate it. But if not, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started with a few of the other micro miners. So for example, the tier 1 micro miner, I think the mission we care about from this one is not going to be the gem one. I don't really think we need any of these gems particularly. Though the tier 1 gives us ilmenite, which is titanium, as well with galena, and I believe sphalerite might not be from this one, but from the tier 2. But either way, we want this mission. So while I'm at it, I'm also going to batch craft 50 of the tier 1 micro miner. So just another one of these. Awesome, and that should be this guy done. I just need to hook him up. Then I need to set his mission through right here. Make sure I have the redstone stuff on. And then I just need to duplicate this circuit right here. This micro miner, I think we're just going to look for a rutile if we have less than 1,000 of it. So just a little bit of this going on, and this should be good to go. Okay, so in here for the micro miner mission that we care about, we want a micro miner tier 1, 1 quantum flux, and a chest. I think I'm going to do probably 10 of each, because these ones are pretty cheap, so we might as well. So, if I take out a bunch of rutile, specifically below 1,000, you should turn on. Yes, and you're going to get 10. That's perfect. And when I go back in, it should not. Yes, perfect. Look at that. And now we're running all of this stuff, which a lot of this we might trash. I don't know if I care about all of it. But it is working, and now we have the tier 1 micro miner also automated. I do just have to make sure that I have a bunch of them in stock. So what I'm going to do is somewhere here. I need like a board that shows them all with probably like a redstone lamp or something. Okay, so I'm evil. I decided I'm going to use crafting cards. However, don't yell at me just yet. I have devised this system to minimize lag as much as possible, while also giving me some convenience. So a little bit of a compromise, if you will. So in front of me, I have a nifty little system that will tell basically this interface to turn on whenever we are below. I guess here I could put 10 micro miners tier 1, and that should work. And this one we're also going to do 10 micro miners for tier 2. So for example, right, if I were to take out some of the tier 2 micro miners, this should turn on and you should start making tier 2 micro miners, if I'm not mistaken. That should be working. Yeah, it's making some tier 2 micro miners right now. Now I do want to do Forge TPS and see how bad that is. It's not making any difference. Okay, so we're all good. No problems here. So this should make the micro miners, and then it will send them into this barrel. And whenever there's 10 of them, it's going to shut off, meaning it will stop using the crafting card and stop taking up my TPS. Whew. So that also means the faster we craft these micro miners, the better. So I might make a large extraction machine for the canner recipes. We'll see how, or I might not, because right now it takes 25 seconds per micro miner. So effectively, I don't know why these drawers are not pulling. The puller upgrades don't seem to be working. I'm not sure why. Oh, there we go. Now it seems to work. Okay, so let me demonstrate this one more time. I'll do it with the tier 1, I think, just so it works. Hopefully the puller upgrade's working. I don't know why it wasn't before. Really strange. So if I take out a whole bunch of the tier 1s, because these take not that long to craft, I have less than 10. As you can see, I have a piston back here that just pushed, right, with this level emitter here, that is pushing this energy acceptor to make this interface go online with the main network. Now, why is this not pushing again? Why are you doing that? Now it might be working? Yes, now it's working. Okay. That's so weird to me. But now it should be working. Same thing with the tier 2. Yeah, so whenever we run out of a certain amount, it will make more, put them into these drawers, and then as you can see, it automatically retracted itself because of the level emitter back here. We became over 10 microminers. So with this system, unfortunately using crafting cards, I know I'm evil, yeah, sue me. I have automatic microminers. I never, ever have to worry about them. Now, there was one concern I had, and that is that, for whatever reason, all 50 of these microminers ran. Now, I think there was some laggy bug or something with the world that caused that. But now there's a huge backlog in ore processing. I'm talking like, it's giant. It's a really big backlog. So, I guess we're probably not going to be running a tier 1 mission, to be honest, ever again. But I'm still going to have that automation in place, because why not? But that is that. I also think this looks really nice. I'm really a fan of the way this looks. Do need a facade, though. So as we get more microminers, all I have to do is teach my system how to make it and then add the microminer to this interface. So just like ore processing, it's just a filter, right? That adds it to the system to do it automatically, and then I don't have to worry about it. How awesome is that? How amazing is that? That is so cool. So I never have to worry about tier 2 microminers. I should always have tungsten. And it seems like one of the missions gave me around 1,400 pieces of tungsten. So that should be pretty cool, right? That is a pretty good deal to me. Other thing is, these are on extract only. I don't want anything going into them that isn't microminers, because then we have a problem where a crafting card is permanently running, which we do not want. That is a big no-no. So next up, I would really like to get the tier 3 microminer. And this is for a few reasons. One, the salt is really nice to have for boron. The barite, I'm not sure what barite is. I think barium, which barium is actually used. Apatite is nice to have. Neodymium we don't actually have a source for. Chromite we don't have a source for. And I don't know what pyrope gives. Magnesium? I'm not sure if we're already getting magnesium from somewhere. Probably. That one's not super important. But the chromite is going to be really nice to have. So I kind of like that. And the neodymium. And I don't believe we're missing too much for this. It's just the magnesium diboride, which now that we have some boron from ore processing, we can actually make it. And everything else we should just have. This reinforced mining laser might be a little difficult as well. I'm going to need some extended crafting for it. So I'm going to need a mixer for magnesium diboride. And then we're also going to want to set up an EBF. So this EBF should be running me making my magnesium diboride, which means now I just have to make the wire and we should be good. And then we also are going to need solidified argon, which this is going to be a little bit more annoying. I'm probably just going to passive it though. Awesome, and this should be making me my solidified argon, just have some argon going into a fluid solidifier. So now, tell me, I'm just missing that, and I should be able to make some tier 3 microminers. Now, I'm not sure how many missions there are for this. There's 3. Do I care about this one? It does give me sapphire, but I already have sapphire on passive. Oh, there are some pretty good missions here. I'm not gonna lie. Specifically, the vanadium magnetite is good, and then we also get tungstate and scheelite from this, so that kind of removes the need for the tier 2 microminer. Because the tier 2 basically only gives us scheelite and tungstate. I guess it gives us sphalerite and cassiterite, so it's not that bad. So let's decide. Because I really like this Super Chest 3 mission for the chromite, barite, and also the salt. But this mission right here is not that bad either. And this also gives us cobaltite, which is a good source of arsenic. Or we could use it in an advanced microburst projector for ancient debris, which I know we're going to need at some point, probably here pretty soon. But we'll probably save the netherite processing for just a little later. So it appears that the tier 3 microminer is actually the only source of automatic cobaltite that you can get. So I think we're definitely going to want to run this mission here. And then we're also going to want to run this mission for salt for boron. And I think that's all I'm really going to care about. And the neodymium as well. So we'll check for probably neodymium or boron, one of the two. I'm going to say the neodymium is probably used a little more. So we'll have neodymium set for the filter on this mission. And on this mission, it's probably going to be arsenic because the scheelite and tungstate we're already getting from a cheaper microminer. So I don't really want to send the more expensive microminer when I could send the cheaper one for the same amount of resources, or rather a similar amount. I think the tier 2 actually gives you more tungsten because it uses end ores. Right, so why would I want to send the tier 3 mission for tungsten when I have a cheaper way of getting it, i.e. the tier 2 miner that just uses titanium and some other stuff? Whereas the tier 3 is still, you know, like it requires argon, a whole bunch of stuff that I have some of, but I would rather not spend all of it, right? So we'll be saying the tier 2 microminer for tungsten. The tier 3, it'll just give us backup tungsten whenever we run out of arsenic. And in fact, we are kind of running low on arsenic, so that means this is going to run. So over here, the tier 3 microminer also needs a few things to go with it, i.e. a super chest 3 and a super chest 2. Now, I could passive these. The super chest 2 would be pretty easy to passive. I don't know if I really want to though, right? So see, I have a decision to make here. Do I want to use the crafting cards in this system for that? Maybe. Maybe. So I think that I'm gonna stick to a crafting card on this system, so it's not on unless it has to be on, so like 1/1,000,000th of the time it'll be on. But I guess at that point I should just put it all on crafting cards. Yep, alright, I've made up my mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this filter for the tier 3 microminer, and I just want 10 of these, I think, in stock, which is the same amount as over here, so that should start crafting all of that somewhere. We should see this online. Yes, now I just have to add it into here. And now it should start crafting stuff. Yeah. So it should also be crafting a bunch of super tanks, if I'm not mistaken. And this should hopefully just fill up in the meantime while the tier 3s are crafting themselves. So we should have the super tank stuff just going whenever it needs to go. We should hopefully never run out of those. If we do and it does become a problem, then I'll have to figure that out. Right? But I think it should be fine for now. Hopefully, don't, famous last words. Should be good though, because I mean, this can run like 44 missions, 49 missions. So yeah, it should be absolutely fine. Okay, so one other quick thing is I actually had to change the interfaces to export buses with crafting cards, because with the interface, what it was doing is it was stocking the stuff in the interface with the stuff that it crafted, so it wouldn't actually make any more. However, with the export buses, you can actually make it to where it only crafts and doesn't take stuff from the system. So that should fix this problem, and it should actually keep crafting these tier 3 microminers until we get 10 of them, which is what we want. And now I should be good to send some missions. Let's hope. So I have quickly set up another one of these microverse projectors, and we are just going to do the same thing over here. And let's see for the tier 3, how many of these do I want to run for? Let's say, do you want to do this mission first or this mission first? We can do this one first. I say we could probably do 5 missions of this, and that should be plenty. Oh, famous last words again. Hopefully this should be enough. And then I need a circuit for this as well. So there's, okay, now I'm thinking about it again. There are definitely multiple ways we could do this circuit. Do I actually think chromite will be the worst part of it? See, now I'm not super sure. So I'm going to change up the circuit just a little bit. I'm going to probably use some redstone P2P here. One of these is going to be for neodymium. I'm thinking I always want 1024 of this. I'm also probably going to want a decent amount of boron. I'm not sure how much boron I want. It's really only used for magnesium diboride, and there might be some chemical stuff here. Ferroboron for nuclear craft, so it's probably a good idea that I have a good amount of this actually. So we'll do 4096, but that's going to be too much. We can do 2048 boron. And then we will also do chromium, which this I really only want to send when I'm probably below like 4096 as well. So here, I'm going to stick redstone multi P2Ps, and they should hopefully connect. These will all be on the same input because we want them to go to the same thing. And then we'll just literally duplicate this exact same circuit. So, right, let me also connect up a P2P to this guy, which, now that I think about it, I can just put it right here. So as soon as I connect this up, we should see it do its thing. Should be online. We should have gotten our signal, and you should have stuff in here. Yes, so now this just needs rocket fuel. Okay, so I'm a dummy. I was using super tanks instead of super chests, so this should fix it, and this should run. Yes! Perfect, and that's going to give me a whole bunch of ore from this mission, and we have 3 different filters for it. Hopefully this will fix the problem, and we'll get all that we need from this. Like, how much boron do I have? Right, if we don't get more than 2048 boron from this mission, then I should probably just redo it. Or rather, if these just don't get reset, which it should be fine, because once we tick below it, they should just get a whole bunch. So we just need to make sure these tick up to their exact amount, and then once they do that, this has kind of been kickstarted, and it should be good. Yeah, and now we have a whole bunch of ore to go through. So all this, I just need to send through ore processing. Oh, this is so satisfying. I am in love with this ore processing system as well, seriously. It is the best. So next up, I need to make the next mission. And I'm also just going to send 5 of these in here. However, this one, I think I'm going to have the filter for arsenic and maybe vanadium. So now if I went ahead and I ran this mission, so let me quickly reset this. I might have just messed something huge up. There might be a whole bunch of stuff in here. Do I want to run 2 of these missions? Yeah, see, I don't need all that. So this is running through one of the missions right now. I'm just going to kickstart it one more time. Like I said, I want to run it too much, just once, right? Or 5 each time that these limits go through. So as of right now, we're below 512 vanadium and we're below 1000 arsenic. Now, I'm not... I have some vanadium stuff. We'll see. Like, I have a lot of ore to go with. So, I'm going to send this all through ore processing and we'll see how much that gives us. So one other thing that I realized is there are going to be some ores that we don't really want to process everything for. For example, vanadium magnetite. We want vanadium, but do I care about magnetite? No. No, I don't. So I don't really want to clog up machines for an extra chance at magnetite. I want to macerate this, and then I just want to forge hammer it straight to over here. Straight to vanadium magnetite. I don't know if it's super worth it getting the refined for the extra 14 piece vanadium. Maybe it is. I don't know. But as it stands, I don't think it's going to be worth it to do that. So I'm going to make a multi-block forge hammer. Like here, I'm already getting magnetite, which I don't care about at all. But I am going to make this forge hammer. I just have to find a spot for it. So that also means I'm just going to have to make one more little subnet for this. So vanadium magnetite can go into here. So I should see all the vanadium magnetite go into here. So effectively, we're going to make this so fast. From the tier 3 microminer, we also get a lot of stuff from plat lines. So ruthenium, we also, I believe, get rhodium from this, which is going to be really useful, though the plat line is still going to be our main source of this. But this will be a nice little backup. But now, I mean, we really have a lot of stuff going through ore processing, finally, right? We have a lot of stuff going, so hopefully this should keep running. We want this to be running a decent amount. We want to be getting resources, right? That's the goal. Which is now hopefully achievable. So we have the tier 3 microminer on passive. We should be seeing more of those being crafted, hopefully. Well, that should be, I mean, pretty much everything done related to ore processing. There might be a few other things we have to do. We might set up a multi-smelter at some point. We'll see. I'm not super sure how much I want to do that. I don't mind things being in dust form because I have a multi-smelter that we can just smelt stuff on demand, right? I don't know. We'll probably end up doing one on passive. I'll do it on stream or something. That's probably what I'll end up doing, actually. Because there is a decent amount of stuff here, like sapphire. I know we need to implosion compress sapphire. Yeah, there is definitely a lot of stuff we have to do still. And one of those things includes fixing the plat line. So this next part is going to take a little bit of time because I have to smelt a bunch of stuff for vibration safe casings. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to replace this macerator and we're just going to send the sheldonite and I think boronite. Yeah, boronite through ore processing. I want to keep that all centralized and then from there it'll just go into here is the plan. We need definitely faster centrifuges. We're going to need, I think I'm going to do 2 electrolyzers for all the electrolyzing that we need to do. That should be all we have to do. As you can see, there's a lot of electrolyzing going on here. So we have to make a few multi-blocks, and I should be able to start with the electrolyzing stuff. So first off, we're going to start off by making 2 different electrolyzers. I hope that's enough. I don't know exactly what we're electrolyzing here. We have rhodium sulfate, which we probably want to electrolyze. There's a few other things, like the sulfuric nickel and copper, platinum powder, and platinum sludge. And then we're going to get rid of all this. So here I am now just going to take in the inputs that I would normally have. So on the input bus, we were giving it raw platinum powder and also ammonium chloride. I should now be able to also make these centrifuges. So I'm just going to build one more of this for the, not platinum sludge, for the iridium metal residue. And then we should be good to go. That should be pretty much all of it done. So, let's just fix this here. So these are now in ore processing, specifically sheldonite and then also probably boronite. And then we no longer need this here. I mean, it kind of looks wacky. It's because of the electrolyzers, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. Let's go mine for some sheldonite. So after a quick mining trip, hopefully this should be enough. I mean, it's just a little bit to get us started. So I'm going to put all of this through here for now, because we can't actually get the ore yet. I believe we get it, yeah, from the tier 5 and tier 4 microminer, which, we're actually not that far from the tier 4. We just need signalum. So all the PGS stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and do as much processing as I can in ore processing before it goes into here. So that's giving me the purified sheldonite and purified bornite, which are going to be finished products that I need to make sure PGS over here, or the plat line, can actually see. So I believe, is it this one? So this should be getting stuff, and we should see things running. This should be getting me my platinum sludge residue. There we go. Everything should hopefully be working now. We're getting our PGS. I think we're good. Yeah, I think this is good. I also don't need this guy here anymore. So just to quickly recap what we've done today, we've set up ore processing completely. There might be some more stuff I have to filter still, like lepidolite. What do I do with this? I think this I needed cesium for, so we're going to thermal centrifuge it. A lot of filtering aside, we've done ore processing, we've set up automatic microverse mining, and we fixed the plat line. You guys hear that sound? You guys know what I call that sound? It's the sound of greatness. But anyways, guys, that is unfortunately all the time I have for today. Today was a long one, so I'm sorry about that, but there was a lot to do today, and I wanted to get it all done in one episode, so it did take me also a little longer to do. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see me and more Monifactory, please hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Monifactory. Later!